Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is for Married at First Sight, season 15 at San Diego. This is the after party, y'all. And on the after party, it was Miguel, Justin, and Kristen. And the cocktail for the night was a slow dance sangria. It was red wine, some brandy, some orange juice, some brown sugar, and some slices of apples and oranges in it. It sounded good and refreshing. And Miguel was like, oh, this really refreshes you. That's funny. Miguel was looking cute in the after party, honey. Miguel's a looker. He is a looker. Kristen was on there talking about she was feeling excited at the wedding day. She was talking about she didn't notice that Band-Aid on his head. Girl, how could you not notice that Band-Aid on his head? She was like, she didn't notice it, but then she goes, oh, I did notice it, but I didn't want to say anything. Like she was sparing his feelings. Why are you sparing his feelings? Because he wasn't sparing your feelings the whole time. But anyway, she said she didn't want to embarrass him or spare his feelings, but that he had a big old gash in his head. So what? Let him bleed from the head. Y'all know I don't like Mitch the Itch, who's full of. That's my whole saying for him. Mitch the Itch, full of. That's what I say about him. But then they start talking about all these Mitch'isms. That's what they call Mitch. They go Mitch'isms. So by now, Justin's talking about him. Miguel is talking about him. Kristen's talking about him, saying this is just who Mitch is. He has a lot of Mitch'isms that either you love it or you don't like it. You either love it or you don't love it. And let me tell you, I'm in the category of not loving it. So right now, we already realize that Mitch is pretty quirky and everybody figured it out. And I don't think it's going to be a good quirky. Miguel was like, Mitch is a man of a whole different breed. And Kristen was talking about Keisha Knight-Pulling was asking her, did you see any red flags with Mitch on the wedding day? And she said she was so enamored and so excited about the wedding day. She said she didn't see any red flags, even though now she realizes they was flying all around her. She said there was red flags flying all around her, but she was like a little girl in the snow doing snow angels in the snow because she was just so happy. This comes to tell us that in hindsight, Kristen realized she overlooked some red flags on that wedding day. And us as viewers watching it, we saw a whole lot of them, but she was just so happy she was ignoring them, which we saw that. She was really, really excited. I feel sorry for this woman. And then one part of the show, they started talking about how Mitch was hitting on Kristen's mama. And like I said, that was foul. That was so foul that he was doing that. He was over there showering that mama with compliments, talking about how beautiful she is. And he couldn't even compliment and give Kristen one compliment the whole night. And even Justin and Miguel had to chime in and say, you know what? If my wife had been flirting with like their father on their wedding day like that, they would have been pissed. Everybody would have been pissed. You know, Kristen's over there sitting with a smile on her face and trying to smile through it, but you could tell she was hurt by it. You could tell that she was hurt by it because that was hard to watch. A man who never told you look beautiful and pretty, but sitting over there fawning over your mother. Boy, get out of here. They were talking about on their wedding day, and Miguel was like, he was excited because when Lindy came over and hugged him and gave him a big old hug at the wedding day, it made him feel comfortable and accepted, and that really set the tone for the rest of the day. And like I said, that's what I like about Lindy. She really is open with her feelings, and what he said was when she hugged him like that, it set the tone. That's what I like. I like setting the tone in a good place. And Lindy, she sets the tone with her positive energy. I really like that about Lindy. He said that he really regrets not telling her that day that she was pretty, or he told her that she was pretty, but I don't know if you remember the scene when he said, well, I don't have to tell you you're pretty. And Lindy was like, oh, yes, you do need to tell me I'm pretty. He says he regrets not doing it right away. He says that was one of his regrets of the thing. But they start talking about, what about the trauma talk about this? Like Lindy's been traumatized or had shelter. And he was like, her being sheltered, it was not a trigger for him. And like I said, that's why I like these two, because I think that Miguel is so calm and so steady, actually, that he's going to be the calm to her storm. They really portrayed Miguel in the beginning as a guy who was sort of unstable and really highly emotional. But he is emotional in terms of he's kind and he's caring. But I don't see him flying off the handle or having irrational talk. By the way, he's a scientist, so that didn't jive, and that's not what I'm seeing with right now. He's got the logic of a scientist because he is a scientist, but he is in touch. He's a kind and caring and gentle person, and I actually really like that about Miguel. They started asking him, well, what about how you got hemmed up by that brother talking about religion and talking about organized religion, and do you report to a higher power or believe in a higher power? And he went on to explain, you know what, I didn't want to offend them. He says, but I did want to be honest and authentic of who I really am. and I don't believe in organized religion. But he also said something good. He said that Lindy gave him a heads up, which I thought was really cool. He said that before then, Lindy went up to him and said, hey, you know, my parents, my mom or my brother might hem you up because they're really real religious, so they may bring it up, so just be prepared for it. But she says, I want to assure you that I'm like not that anymore. Like I said, the church girl is gone. The church girl is gone with Lindy. And she was like, I just want to let you know I'm not like that. I'm not really religious like that anymore, so you don't have to worry about it. But she did warn him. And so he said when that moment came, he wasn't so ruffled by it because he had already expected it. I thought that was so cool. They were already working together. I love that. And even Justin notices, he says, Keisha and I said, what do you think of Miguel and Lindy at this time? And Justin was like, you know what? Every time Lindy looks at Miguel, she just glows. She just lights up. It's the same thing I said. I really love Lindy's energy. I don't know what to tell you. I might be saying it all season long, but right now I'm really loving her positive energy. I like the way it's making Miguel feel. I like the way Miguel is making her feel. I just think it's reciprocal, and I just love that about these two. And even Kristen chimed in. She said, you know what? That Miguel and Lindy and she and Mitch the Itch got married on the same day at the same venue. She said, so they actually got a lot of time to spend with each other and talk about each other. And she said she really liked Miguel. He was cool. He's suave. He's poetic. I'm telling you, everybody crushing on Miguel. It looked like Kristen is crushing on Miguel too. Then they start talking to Justin about his wedding day. And he said that one of the things that made him feel good on the wedding day was when Alexis asked for the heater because he was cold too. Like I said, this role reversal, most of the time it's the man trying to get the woman warm. But he liked the fact that Alexis spoke up and told them, can we get a couple of heaters over here? And Justin was like, oh, I felt so cared for. Justin did say that his friends were a little bit apprehensive about Alexis because he said his friends was like, that's a red flag. If she's had 3 proposals and she's turned them down, maybe she's not serious in relationships. And he said that was a red flag with his friends. So his friends was looking at Alexis out the side eye. He said his family liked Alexis and they were really cool with her. But he said his friends, in the beginning, his friends were not feeling Alexis all the way at all. It kind of sounded like me because I wasn't feeling Alexis at all a lot too until she got drunk at this wedding. I started liking her a little bit more. I like drunk Alexis. I don't like sober Alexis. I don't know what's going to happen this season with me and Alexis. But one of the interesting stories that Justin told about he and Alexis was they had met before, y'all. They really met. They had really met. So he told the story that 4 months before, just like Alexis said when they was in the honeymoon suite, that they had met each other on Hinge. And Alexis said that he said that Alexis wasn't interested in him. So she said that he reached out to Alexis on IG and they exchanged IGs and they started following each other. So they did follow each other. Then once they started following each other, Justin said that he actually dropped down in her DMs and messaged her. And so she didn't respond to his message. So then he was like, this is Justin from Hinge. So she would know who it was writing her. And she was like, I know who it is. And she said, I know who it is, and still didn't respond. So it is very clear that at first sight, Alexis was not physically attracted to Justin, but like she said on the show tonight, that she realized that was superficial, because I think what she's realizing is that although maybe physically she wasn't physically attracted to him, she's realizing that all the other characteristics that he has is exactly what she needs. And to be honest with you, I don't even know why she ain't attracted to him physically, because I know Alexis talked about she prom queen and she was class president and she's had 3 proposals and she continually tries to put herself up here. But honestly, I believe she and Justin are on the same level. They're on the same level. I'm talking about in terms of looks and everything else. They're on the same level. So I really don't want Alexis anymore elevating herself above Justin, because I don't think that she needs to do. I think that they're on the same level, looks wise and everything else. And in fact, I think Justin has a little bit more of a warm personality than Justin. So if I'm going to give the edge to somebody, I'm going to give the edge to Justin, to be honest with you, because I like a person with a nice personality, a sweet personality. And I don't know why Alexis was out here trying to talk about she want a linebacker 6'4" with all these muscles. First of all, that guy would not like you. No football player, a 6'4" football player, linebacker would not be liking the physical physique of Alexis. Not to put her down or not to shade her, but I hate when people want people with perfect bodies and everything, and their bodies aren't perfect. I don't like that. And that's the part I didn't like about Alexis last week. But she redeeming herself this week as drunk Alexis. And then Miguel was also telling the story, about Lindy, with the fact that they forgot to give her the garter when they were taking, take the garter off the woman's leg. And he was saying that they forgot to give Lindy a garter. And so what he did was he took his bow tie off and he put the bow tie on her leg. And that's what he ended up taking off her leg. He was so accommodating. I love Miguel and Lindy. I'm still 2 feet in with Lexus. I'm calling them Lexus. I'm still rooting for Miguel and Lindy. I think they're going to be a wonderful couple. I'm still rooting for Justin and Alexis. And Kristen and Miguel, it's a no-go. You could tell him by this after party. She don't like that man. She don't like that man. I think this man is going to be worse than Alyssa from last year. I think he's going to rank in the top 10 worst husbands of Married at First Sight. Yeah, I'm saying it. Anyway, that's it, y'all. Be sure to watch my videos on the other couples. Talk to you later. Bye.